Well, good to see everybody on Tuesday. Exciting week. Got another opportunity to go on the road, play a really good opponent. Um, guys have been in a great frame of mind yesterday, today, good spirited practice today. So we just got to keep stacking days and get ready for Saturday at 11 a.m. Um, I think had a good response. I think a lot of the leadership is being very vocal, very positive. I think we're having fun. They're practicing, they're having fun in practice. Football's a game that's meant to be fun, and but like anything in life, sometimes you can get in a rut and maybe lose track of some of those things. I think we're in a really good place right now. Look, we got a hard challenge on Saturday, go on the road and win and against a good football team and at their place, but I think our guys' approach right now is really good just in general. Like it's who we've been, it's who we are, it's who we need to be. And so I think they're playing for each other and they're working and they're trying to get ready to play the best we can on Saturday. Yeah, none of the stuff around this game affects this team. That's got to be the mindset. There is a lot of emotion around rivalry games when it comes to fan bases, but we can't play emotional. We got to play passionate. We got to play with intensity and toughness and together. And I mean, on the road when it's kind of you versus everybody, you've got to have a different level of closeness, right, to get through the ebbs and flows of the game because there are waves of emotion in the game, right? And you've got to stay steady through all of that. So yeah, if you make it emotional, then you're probably not going to play as good as you can. And so we've got to fight that. We can't get caught up in the emotion of it. We're playing a really good team on the road. We've got to worry about SMU, and if we play good SMU football, then we'll give ourselves a chance to win. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, there's through 3 games, 12 quarters, there's been a lot of good and a lot of not good and a lot of what is going on, goes back to the reality is 42 of 85 guys are new. We've had probably more injuries in the first 3 games than we've had in our first 3 years at this point in the season. It's fine. It's just thrusting freshmen and maybe new guys into that role quicker than maybe you would think. You would think maybe week 5, 6, 7, we're going to need some of these guys, but no one thought Jalen Cooper was going to be starting receiver play 2 of the season. No one thought we were going to play games 2 and 3 without our 2 starting linebackers, and so on and so forth. So when that happens, a young team maybe gets exposed. Young and new is probably the way to put it because we're young, but we're also new. Half those guys maybe aren't young, but they're new to here. And that's just the challenge everywhere in college football now. And so um, I think you've seen some good, but you've seen a lot of growing pains and stuff that we've got to grow up fast. We've got to get out of fast. I still believe this team has a lot of potential. I think that's what you see. But potential doesn't mean we've done it and gotten there yet. And so we've got to keep working hard to get to that point because I do think this team has a chance to be a really good football team. We've proven that, in week 2 against a really good opponent for 3.5 quarters, we've looked really good and we didn't finish the job. And so now, and then the other 2 games, we've had a lot of ups and downs and sloppiness. So it's part of the process. It can be frustrating for coaches, players, fans. This game's hard. It's hard to win. But fortunately, we were able to win last week and go into this week with a win, and hopefully that'll continue to help us get where we need to get faster. A lot of freshmen, a lot of redshirt freshmen making plays, and it makes you feel really good. I mean, it makes you feel like one, we're finding the right kind of young men to come here, and they're wanting to come here that can help us play at a championship level. Um, it's been a long time since here at SMU we've had freshmen that could go in the game and compete this early. And yeah, they're making freshman mistakes. We don't line up the ball one time, so we get a penalty, or we get fundamentally on this play. But they're making a lot of plays too, and they're giving us a chance. And candidly, in the past, we wouldn't have had guys that were able to do that. So I'm really proud of those guys. We're going to continue to play them And a lot of guys are in that too deep, and maybe they're not starting, but they're in the rotation, and they're either playing some, or at some point it's going to be their time. And we've made the commitment to play through their development. Look, we want to win every game. We want to compete for the league. We want to compete for the postseason. That's never going to change. But we're building for the long haul. And to do that, we have to play guys through that development. And sometimes there's some growing pains with that. But I believe in them, proud of them, glad they're here. We've got another recruiting class coming in. They're going to be the same. We're going to throw them in there and play them. And I think if we want to attract the caliber of players we want to, we're going to have to do that. So it's been exciting. To answer your question, we've been proud of those guys because they are who we thought they were, and I think they're going to just keep getting better. I mean, somebody's played. This will be the 104th time. It means something, you know. There's probably, I don't know, a couple dozen maybe rivalries in the country that played over 100 times. This is one of them, so I think it's important. Congratulate Sonny. He won his 100th game last week. That's a big deal. So proud of him. Happy for him. He's well earned that. But it's two good programs. I think two programs that have won. I know our program's really on the rise, and man, it's why you play the games, to have competitive games like we did in week 2, and like this one hopefully will be. And we're going to have a bunch in our conference, and they've chosen not to play anymore. We'll see what the future holds, but we're playing this Saturday, and that's kind of goes back to the question on emotion. Can't really get caught up in that right now if you're in our state. We just got to worry about playing good football on Saturday, playing better football on Saturday than we did this past Saturday to give ourselves a chance to win a big game. Man, he may be the best quarterback we play all year, and we're going to play some good ones. We've already played one good one. We're going to play a lot more good ones. So I may say that again in 3 or 4 weeks. Y'all don't fault me, but I'm a big Josh Hoover fan. I thought he was really good last year. Played well against us. We were fortunate to get a few turnovers, but he made a lot of plays throughout the year. I mean, they were a 9-win team, largely because of him. And you see the same thing in the first 2 games this year. I mean, he gets the ball out. He's accurate. He can make every throw. He's tough. I think he's a really good player, and I think that's why they have a chance to have a really good football team this year, because they have a quarterback like that. And so it's a huge challenge for our defense to limit their explosiveness and keep them out of the end zone enough to give us a chance to win. Injuries, yeah, if I forget one, ask. So Kilgore practiced today, so we're hopeful that he'll be able to give it a go Saturday. I'd say Barker's still on track to try to give it a go as well. So we may get a little help at linebacker, although those guys have played really well the last few weeks. Ja'Kai Lane got banged up last game, but he practiced today. Jordan Hudson was out there for the first time today. I don't know yet if he'll be available or not, but he did partially practice today, which is the first time. So that's a positive trend. Who am I missing? PJ was good. He just got rolled up a little bit, and then we didn't put him back in because we were up by a couple scores, but he practiced today. So did Logan Parr, who didn't play half the game last week, more than half the game. Nate Anderson played a lot, did a good job, but Logan practiced today. So Lamadrick, yeah, he's healthy. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's weird. It kind of always falls in week 4 for both of us. Nothing wrong with that. Just kind of how it's been done, I guess, here lately. And so a lot of times it's a week 1 or 2 deal, or at the end of the season. And it's kind of an interesting spot as we're both leaving non-conference and going into conference. And so, to your point, in 19 it springboarded us into a 10-win season. I think, I wasn't here the next 2 years, but 1 year didn't get played, I guess. But then, my first year back in 22 was actually a shootout. It was a good game, and it propelled them to a BCS or a playoff championship game. And 23, it didn't really propel anybody. They won and then didn't have the year they wanted to have, and we didn't win and then didn't lose again, till the bowl game. So And then last year, obviously, it really helped springboard us again. So it can be a swing game, but there's also evidence that it doesn't necessarily happen that way. Um, look, both teams want to win, both fan bases want to win. Rivalries are what made our sport awesome. It's what made TV want to cover our sport. And then the irony of it is TV is somewhat hurting rivalries. That plus the fact that, I think as long as you have a college football playoff model that is not earned but picked, as long as it's not earned but it's picked, selected, politicked for. Now with most conferences going to 9-game conference schedules, and I don't know what we'll do, but I'm assuming we will, because I'm assuming we're not going to be the only one that doesn't play 9 games. Now you're putting schools in a position, if we still want big-time non-conference games, we better make it more accessible to get in the playoff. Because if you got to play 9 conference games and it's all a popularity contest, does it benefit you to go lose a marquee non-conference game? Probably not. At least that's what was learned last year with some teams. But if hey, there's 16-plus teams and the top 4 get in, or the top 4 to 6 in our league at least get a chance to play in on playing Saturday, then you're going to see much more SMU, TCU, SMU, Oklahoma, SMU, LSU, Ohio State, Texas. People are going to go play those games because they know, man, I can play those big marquee games. Good for the fans, good for TV, good for everybody. And then I have a chance in conference to really play my way in no matter what happens. But as it is today, that's not the case. A team like Clemson doesn't have a lot of incentive to play that LSU game anymore because they lose a tight 7-point game, and now they've lost one conference game and their back's against the wall. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably longer winded than you asked for, but it's an important game. It'll help either team who wins, but whoever team loses, they've got their entire conference slate ahead of them, and they're still playing for a lot.
This is just what I've got at least seen, so maybe you guys dove into it deeper, but penalties kind of impacting those drives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can ask it. Go for it.
Okay. How do you guys address the penalties, and just kind of, if you can, take us behind the scenes of what that is like?
Yeah.
Some of the penalties and how you try to fight against it.
No, I mean, I assure you it's being addressed. It's always addressed. It's not like we just don't address it and then we start having penalties. I love a passionate fan base that gets angry about discipline. Trust me, no one's more angry than I am. There's also, you got to take discipline for what it is. There's lack of discipline, spitting on an opponent, hitting a guy in the helmet, celebrating, undisciplined penalties like that of emotion. There's no place for it. Lining up off sides twice, not acceptable. Not having a guy on the line of scrimmage for illegal formation, or not snapping the ball on a false start. Those are undisciplined, unacceptable penalties, whether it's emotional or mental. Then there's another, if we had 12 penalties, that's ridiculous. That's unacceptable. And honestly, 11 of 12 probably could have been called, should have been called. I thought Zay's pick was really clean, but they called it. That happens in a game. But the other 11, I can't go, he shouldn't have called that. No. But what it is a lot of times is fundamental discipline. I'm blocking a guy, and I got to have my hands low enough that I don't slide up into his face mask and rip his face mask off. And now I got a 15 yards hand to the face on a 3rd and 2 where we got the first down. Now it's 3rd and 17. And then we are kicked way back and we miss a long field goal. That's a big deal. We break a run and we're going to block a guy, but because we maybe weren't playing with the effort we need to, or we didn't fundamentally get our body in the right position, we hit him in the back, and now it's a block in the back. You know what I mean? Pushing a quarterback at late that was bang bang, but they're going to protect quarterback. There's fundamental things, and there's a bunch of different ways discipline shows its face. It's not because guys don't care. It's not because we have a bad locker room, and it's definitely not because it's not being enforced. It was today. We had officials at practice. We had a couple penalties, and guys have accountabilities and up downs as a unit right after. The guys playing aren't trying to create penalties, but to your point, 12 for 130 is embarrassing. You can't win many games that way. That's why defensively they're 0 for 13 on 3rd and 4th down. They rushed for 50 yards, yet you still felt weird because we had 7 penalties and 2 or 3 of them extended drives. We would have been off the field. Offensively, you're stagnant. I mean, you have 400-something yards and you score 4 touchdowns because you'll go, and all of a sudden you're stepping back and it kills the drive. So it's being addressed. It's been addressed. It'll continue to be addressed. Some of it is fundamentals. Some of it's lack of mental and emotional discipline. Some of it's inexperience, and none of them are excuses that validate that kind of sloppy play if we want to win. And I'm going to go ahead and address it. Nobody asked. We love our fans, and we love passionate fans. And if you say pony up to me, I'm going to freaking say pony up back. And if you say go Mustangs, I'm going to say go Mustangs. And if you say kick 'em Stangs, I'm going to kick something. Like, whatever. I don't know totally what all happened. I was preparing for a game and in a game, and I know there's been a lot of passion from our fan base. Like, we're the SMU Mustangs. We wear a Mustang on the side of our helmet. It's hail to the red and the blue. We're the Mustangs of SMU. So our mascot is what it is. There's only one Mustang in Division I football. I think that's a big deal. So I think our school, our program is going to promote us as the Mustangs because that's who we are. It's the Mustangs playing, not the ponies. But there's also nothing wrong with a fan who likes to say pony up as a term of welcoming and celebration and endearment. We value the Pony Express. Like, there can be all kinds of things. Like, there's nobody trying to hurt traditions that people like, and maybe traditions that had been long ago, and bring them back, whatever. But I just think the biggest thing is we are the Mustangs, and we're on the national stage now, and the branding needs to be SMU and the Mustangs, and there needs to be no gray area in that. But hey, man, if you say pony up, I'll give you a pony up right back. And but I don't even know what all's out there. That's just my 2 cents. It's all awesome because if you love the Mustangs, if you love to call us the ponies, and if you love something in between, you're still a fan of SMU, and you're on my team. Let's go.